Grace, and I'm back with another video for you guys. And today I am talking about revision and talking about impossible revisions. And I will be answering a couple of questions from a couple of my viewers. And if you guys would like to ask me a question, I have this new link. It's called Ask Me. It's in the description, and you can ask me a question about your specific situation and I can answer it. So let me know like how that works for you guys, because I'm still getting that set up on my end. So anyhow, I'm going to read both of these people's question. They actually, it's funny this happened. Like one person will ask me something and then another person will ask me the same thing, like soon after. So that's how I know I need to make a video on it. But I'm gonna read both of them, and I am racing against time because my phone is literally like dying. So I'm gonna try and make this quick. Okay, so this guy says, can you please affirm for me that I am at my desired age, completely in 3D reality, on my documents and in people's minds? I'm affirming that for like 2 years, but can't see movement. Please. And like, I won't keep reading that. Okay, this person says, I'm facing a difficulty with revision. I don't know how to exactly revise multiple things at once. Please guide me a little. How can I change my past that includes changing my and my family's birth years, our ages, professions, being born in a different country, and more? As I want to revise multiple things at once, and things like what majority of people think are impossible, like changing your age and the ages of your parents and siblings, and also manifesting, revising having an elder brother or sister who you know doesn't currently exist, changing the professions of your parents and your own, revising living in a different country, and simply waking up in your dream house, your dream country, being a multimillionaire, and even your parents being billionaires. How to manifest this quickly without being desperate or feeling anxious? And do you think it's possible to change things like this without rebirth? I don't want to go into this cycle. I just want to alter everything in this particular reality. Okay, so let's get into this, okay? Because this is a good question, and this is something that it ties in with something that I've been wanting to talk with you guys about in the first place. So to get the big elephant out the room, yes, it's possible, right? It's possible. Not only is it possible, but people have done it. The stories that I've told you guys in one of my revision videos of the girl who revised that her family was rich. She went back and they had like grew up in a different house, like all kinds of things. Her name is Awaken with Candace, I believe, if you want to check out her channel. There's also been instances of people like literally shifting into completely different realities, different like lives within lives, just like Neville talked about, worlds within worlds, people shifting to another reality, living in that reality for years and coming back. And those people, unfortunately for them, had done it on accident. It would just happen weirdly, but I'm not going to get on into that because I don't have the battery for that. But the thing about this, you guys, is yes, these things are possible. Yes, you can change all of these things, right? But this kind of ties in what I was talking about in the weight loss video, which is that you guys have to raise your state of consciousness. You have got to, like, you can do impossible things, right? Impossible things. The more impossible the thing, and we're talking about bending laws of physics and, scientific laws that we all abide by. When it comes to bending those laws, your consciousness, sorry, that's my phone dying. When it comes to bending those laws, your consciousness needs to be raised to a level that can have that change happen. Number one. Number two, when it comes to revision, you guys, I get the question all the time, how to revise, how is this, whatever. Oh, hey, Sim, you're here. I'm glad you made it. But how to, I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh, right. People ask me all the time, how to revise, how does this happen? How is this possible? Guys, literally, I do not know. Okay. I don't know how this is possible. I don't know how these things are happening. All I know is to imagine it. That's it. That is all you have to do. It's all you honestly really can do until someone invents a time machine that allows us to travel back into time. Your imagination is the way, the key, and that's what it's always going to be, right? In my experience with revision, I've told you guys in the beginning of me revising things, I did not believe. I did not believe that I could change the past. That sounds freaking crazy. And for me, as I said, because probably that I've had that belief, it manifests in a way where the future changes as if the past was different, right? Or now, what I will say though, now the experiences that I do have that are coming to me now is I see reality shifts all the time. People, like, I remember this one story. My mom would kill me if she knew I was telling the story, but she doesn't watch my videos, so it's okay. So there's this story of my mom, where like my mom is born in Jamaica, right? And she doesn't do drugs. She doesn't like really like drink much at all. Like she is like very, good girlish, right? But she told us the one time that she got high. I remember this story. I mean, anybody would remember the one time that their mom got high, right? And she told us that she was in Jamaica and she had eaten a cookie by accident, or someone had given her a cookie or something, and she ate it. Was an edible, and she ate it, and she was high, and it was horrible, and she hated it, right? This is a story I've known for my entire life, right? One day we're talking about it, and she's like telling me the story, but in a completely different way. She's like, she says she was older and she was with some friends of hers, and her friend's husband gave her a piece of the cookie and thought that she knew that there was weed in it or something crazy like that. And she had a horrible experience. And I was like, what? I was like, I thought the time in Jamaica when you had the cookie, you ate the edible. She was like, no. She's like, that's not, she's like, people in Jamaica don't eat edibles. She's like, that's not even a thing. Like people, they smoke there. They don't eat edibles. And I never had that happen as a kid, and like completely denied this story completely. And I know in my mind, you guys, I remember, that's a very memorable thing to hear about, right? But it had completely changed. And you guys, I've had stuff like this happen all the time, where somebody is like, it's something that I know has happened, or even something I know that somebody hasn't told me or hasn't like shared with me. And they're like, no, I know I told you. I know I told, like, all of these things. So I say that to say that reality shifts are happening all the time. And we just attribute it to, oh, maybe my memory, or, oh, it was this or it was that. But we are shifting through realities all times, and all realities are in existence at this time. However, when it comes to, there is a reality where we all don't abide by gravity, right? But if we're trying to manifest ourselves into the reality of where we don't all use gravity, like, I really want to explain this in a way of not limiting you guys, but just understanding that you are limited by your state of consciousness, period. If you believe, if you're in a state of consciousness of I can only do so much, or certain things are impossible, if you like, and I'm trying to think of the words, like the state of consciousness is the best way that I can think of saying it. But you like, think about somebody like Abdullah, right? Or even somebody like Jesus. Think of somebody that is a very advanced manifester, very advanced manifester. These are people that could do things like that, right? But I will tell you that I'm pretty sure Abdullah wasn't affirming for anything. Jesus was definitely not affirming for anything. There was no technique for these people, because when you get, here it comes, when you get to a state of consciousness that knows that you are beyond the technique, what it really takes, you guys, it's coming. It's like the epiphany is hitting me of how to explain this to you guys. What it really takes is the level of consciousness of understanding deeply and completely that this is a dream, that this whole reality is a dream. And because it is a dream, it is at your whim, it is at your fingertips to change. And that sounds so simple. But the deeper that you know that, that is why Neville was able to do the things that Neville was able to do. That is why all like these yogis, like I was talking about months ago, that was able to drink poison and nothing happened to him, that lived for some outrageous amount of years, all of these things, because when you have to do things like this, you guys, things like changing your age, change like what this person said. And I'm glad that you brought this to me, person. I told you I wouldn't say your name, I'll call you Bob, but I'm glad you brought this to me, Bob, because this is, a lot of people are trying to do things like this with the consciousness like this, okay? They're trying to do things like change your siblings and change your whole entire, you basically want to be a different person, you know? But they're doing it from a consciousness of, well, I've only affirmed for 9 minutes and 30 seconds. That's not 10 minutes, so my desire isn't going to come. And I'm saying that example for you guys to see the difference in the level of consciousness. Like, Jesus was knowing he is I am, right? Neville was knowing he is I am. Abdullah was knowing he is I am. And they were knowing that deeper than they were knowing that they were the character that they were, right? That is what allowed them to do what they wanted to do. You guys, I'm looking at my battery. Oh, it's not even telling me what percentage is on. Let me hurry up. But that's basically it, you guys, because I don't know when this is going to cut off. So let me hurry up. But raise your state of consciousness. Come into the realization that this whole reality, this whole shenanigan, all of this is a dream. It's fake. It's not real. The more that you identify as the real, as the constant, as the creator. I was listening to Your Faith is Your Fortune, and there was a quote in here where Neville said exactly what I'm talking about, and he was talking about the conceiver being greater than the conception, right? You are the conceiver of this reality. So you are, the reality is the conception. You are the conceiver. You can change this to be what you want it to be. Okay. The deeper that you know that, that is the way. It's not about the techniques. It's not about, like, the people that are able to do things like that are beyond techniques. Believe me when I say that, okay? They are not sitting there trying to make anything happen. They are in the awareness of knowing that everything has happened, everything is happening, and they, excuse me, they are the selector. So that is the state of consciousness that you need to be in. It's not about, that's why the affirming is not working. You're affirming from a state of consciousness, of a human state of consciousness. You're affirming from the identity as Bob the Builder. I just think of that when I say Bob, but you're affirming from that state of consciousness, which, guess what, can't affect their reality, right? Can't change their whole past. You can rise to that consciousness though, but that needs to be your task, not necessarily trying to force these things. How can I proceed? Okay, so I, like, my phone is gonna die. I'm sorry. But what I will say is, don't, like, when it comes to 3D, I have literally a whole playlist on 3D. So I would like suggest that you check that out. But even your comment is like, it's indicative of what I'm saying. Like, the level of consciousness to create these types of things, your level of consciousness needs to come to a higher realization, right? Because if your level of consciousness is at that realization, you wouldn't be worried about 3D or anything like that. I don't want this to cut off, you guys, and it not post. So I'm going to end it here. Another thing that I'll add is just imagine it, you guys. How do you reimagine it? Just imagine it all throughout your day. Simlim, all throughout your day, see yourself, just make it up. That's what we're all doing anyway. Play pretend, make it up in your mind as if